Have you ever woken up about 4 or 5 weeks into the school year and realized that maybe, just maybe, you overplanned your homeschool for the summer, and now you're drowning in all the wonderful things you wanna do and not getting school done because of the overwhelm? This has happened to me, and this is what you can do about it. Right now, most of us are anywhere between 4 to 6 or 7 weeks. Some hardy souls are 8 weeks into their new school year, and so we've reached the point where some of us are realizing maybe we planned just a little too much. Because I'm gonna tell you, planning is so much fun. Planning is way more fun than actually doing school, right? Can I get a hands up, like, if planning is more fun than actually doing school? But now you're juggling math, you're juggling reading and history and science, and maybe poetry and music and art and nature study, and somewhere in there, you're supposed to feed people 3 times a day, and you're realizing that your plate is just a little too full. And here's the problem, you don't wanna give any of it up because it's all beautiful, it's all fun. You've already bought all the books and the supplies, and you've already planned it all out, and I get it. Nobody wants to waste good curriculum or miss out on lovely things, but I have to tell you, if it's messing with your consistency, we need to talk. We need to talk because it's just not worth it. Do you see the conundrum that we have here? If you have too much planned, that it means that you're not doing school, it's almost as bad as not having anything planned at all and not doing school, right? You kind of run it into the same problem. So, why do we overplan? We overplan for all the best reasons. We overplan because we want to give our kids a really great education. We overplan because we see other families, maybe on Instagram or in the community or at co op doing things, and we think, oh, we should be doing that too. We overplan because maybe we got lured in by like this big, shiny curriculum, and now we feel like we have to do every single page to get our money's worth. And let's be honest, sometimes we overplan because we're maybe just a little bit of a perfectionist and we don't want to leave gaps. Yeah, I've been there too, right? So we make this amazing plan and then we realize 4, 5, or 6 weeks into the school year that it's going to be really, really hard to execute on that plan. And the problem is over planning, it doesn't make our homeschool richer in the end. It really just makes them kind of fragile and open to breaking a little bit, right? Because it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic that we're not going to have this just the stamina. Like we just don't have the stamina for 6 full subjects every day. It also creates guilt when we get behind and we feel like failures. And it also leads to burnout because instead of looking forward to our school days, we start dreading them and we start putting them off. So those are some of the things that over planning can do. And I have to tell you, I've been there, right? I've been there. But I also know because I've been there that you don't have to give up all the beautiful things. Instead, we can just reframe these. And what I want to do today is give you 4 ways that you can keep a lot of the richness without losing the rhythm and consistency and feeling like I've planned too much and there's no way we can do this all. Okay? Because I've got 4 little strategies for you. The first one is try rotating the extras. Instead of trying to do all the extras all the time, instead, think about rotating them. So maybe you do music 1 week and you do art the next. And if you've got, let's say, 3 different kind of extra subjects that you wanted to do, maybe it's music, art, and nature study, you put them on that 3-week rotation, right? And you're going to get to one every 3, one every week, but like you're going to get to music every 3 weeks or something like that. You could also rotate subjects by season. So you could say this term we're going to do music, next term we're going to do art, and the next term we're going to do nature study. I wouldn't do that one in January necessarily. So think seasonally when you think about where you're going to put things. So you're going to do things less often, yes, but you're still going to get to the plans that you've made. And maybe when you get to next summer, you'll realize, Well, I did half the music I planned this year. Guess what? I can do half the other half of the music next year, and I don't have to plan again. So, woo, it's like a double win. You're going to do them more joyfully by rotating through those extras. The other thing you could do is you can try a loop schedule. So instead of putting every subject on every day, instead create yourself a loop schedule, and then you just work on the next thing. Once again, you're probably not going to get all of it over the course of the school year, but you can just continue your loop to the next year. So nothing's getting lost. It's just getting delayed and moved into that rotation and done just a little less often. So rotating the extras by term or by week or putting them in a loop schedule, you're kind of getting to the same ends using both of those different strategies. The next strategy is to say, we're going to do our minimum every day, and then we're going to do 1 or 2 bonus subjects. So you have like your biggest 3 things, maybe it's math and it's reading and one of your together subjects that you're doing, language arts together or science together or something like that. But then everything else is just a bonus. So take all of your other subjects and put them in the bonus category and choose 1 bonus each day, right? So then you're doing 4 things a day and you're probably going to get to things more consistently, even though you're only doing it every so often because you're being consistent with what you're doing. And then also, finally, kind of the last thing is give yourself permission to shelf or shelve some of your plans until later. So this is not failure. This is like wisdom. You can come back to it in a new season. You can come back to it the following year. You can come back to it the next semester. You can come back to it when your kids are older. Just because you plan something and you're not doing it now doesn't mean you won't do it down the road. And so if you really are truly overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that you've chosen, maybe you're like, Pam, that's great to do 1 subject every 3 weeks, but I have 6 subjects, you know? Then take 3 of them and shelve them until next year and then do them the next year, right? So there's no shame in that. There's no shame in saying, this is what we can do, and therefore this is what we're gonna do, right? So think about it. Um, is there anything that you wish you could do more consistently that's been getting crowded out? And are there any of these strategies that you could use to help you feel better about the fact that maybe, just maybe, we overplanned a little bit and that's causing us to be a little bit inconsistent, right? Consistency doesn't mean having to give up the beautiful things. Like we have such a heart for our homeschool and we have such a vision for our homeschool. And I never want to tell anybody not to do all those wonderful, beautiful things that you've planned. But planning them in such a way that we keep a realistic list of what we want to do so we can get up and do things consistently using some of these strategies like 1 thing per season or using a loop schedule or my minimum plus 1 bonus activity. Those are the ways that we fit in those extras without overwhelming ourselves and overwhelming our kids. When you plan realistically, you actually get more joy because you keep showing up for it. You keep showing up for it and you feel better about yourself, you feel better about your plan, and you feel better about all the beautiful things that you're doing. So, if you realize that your plan is a little heavy right now, I put the link to the Grace-Filled Reboot in the description. Find the link to the Grace-Filled Reboot and print out that reboot and really give some thought to, have I planned too much? And then what strategies could I use in order to pare back a little bit, still keep beautiful things in our daily lives, but maybe try not to cram too much in. And always remember that a reboot is not a failure. It's one of the smartest tools that you can have in your homeschool toolbox. And if you have been struggling with consistency in your homeschool for any reason, not just over planning, I am going to put the link to the Homeschool Consistency Bootcamp for you down in the description, and you can get on the wait list for when we open the doors to that in just a couple of weeks.